Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving headfirst into the most complex, mysterious, and honestly fascinating organ in the human body. We are talking about how our brain works. Your brain is the absolute master controller of your life. Every single thought, every memory, and every breath you take originates right here. So let's map out exactly how this incredible piece of biological machinery does its job. But right off the bat, let me hit you with a quick riddle. What weighs about 3 pounds in an average adult and is made up of 60% fat? Yep, you guessed it. It's the brain. It is quite literally your central command center. And here's a totally wild fact to kick things off. Despite controlling literally every single muscle movement in your entire body, the brain itself isn't a muscle at all. No, it's this incredibly intricate network of blood vessels, nerves, and specialized cells just sitting quietly inside your skull, running the whole shebang. To make sense of all this, we're going to take an outside-in approach today. Number 1, we'll meet your master organ. Number 2, we'll explore the cerebral command center. Number 3, we're heading deep inside the brain. And finally, number 4, connections and life support. Okay, section 1, meet your master organ, the big picture of brain anatomy. Let's get into it. Before we jump into the crazy geography of all the different lobes and regions, we've got to understand the absolute foundational building blocks: gray matter and white matter. If you've ever heard someone joke about using their gray matter, well, this is exactly what they mean. The central nervous system is divided into 2 very distinct regions. Gray matter, which sits on the outer portion of the brain, is primarily made up of neuron somas, which are the central cell bodies. You can think of gray matter as the processing centers. This is where the actual information is interpreted. White matter, on the other hand, sits right underneath it. Now, it gets its lighter color from myelin, which is this protective coating wrapped around the axons, the long stems connecting the neurons. So if gray matter is the computer processor, white matter is the vast network of transmitting cables sending that process data everywhere else. Oh, and here's a fun little twist for you. Down in your spinal cord, this whole layout actually flips. The white transmitting matter sits on the outside, and the gray processing matter is tucked safely on the inside. Now, looking at the actual physical makeup of this organ, the brain is roughly 60% fat. The remaining 40% is this very precise cocktail of water, protein, carbohydrates, and salts. But hey, don't let this mostly fatty composition fool you for a second. Within this structure, you have billions of neurons constantly firing off chemical and electrical signals. Literally every time you feel tired or feel a sudden pain or simply process the words I'm speaking to you right now, it's all because these billions of tiny nerve cells are communicating through this fatty, watery environment. Moving right along to section 2, the cerebral command center, exploring the outer surface. So zooming in a bit, let's act as your tour guide and look at the cerebrum. This is the largest, most highly evolved part of the brain that governs all of our highest functions. And what's really fascinating here is the origin of the word for its outer layer. The cerebral cortex is that outer gray matter covering the cerebrum. And the word cortex actually translates to bark in Latin. Just like the bark of a tree, it covers the outside. It's covered in these ridges called gyri and deep folds called sulci. Now, why is it so wrinkly? Well, those folds drastically increase the surface area, which basically allows way more neurons to fit inside the tight spaces of your skull. In fact, this biological bark makes up about half of your brain's entire weight. It's split into a left and right hemisphere. The right hemisphere controls the left side of your body, and the left hemisphere controls the right side. And they actually talk to each other across this deep fissure using a massive C-shaped bridge of white matter called the corpus callosum.
If we map out this cerebrum, we'll find it's divided into 4 highly specialized neighborhoods, or lobes, sitting right there on the surface. Up at the very front is the frontal lobe, which is the largest one. Think of this as your internal CEO. It handles your personality, decision-making, and it houses Broca's area, which is what gives you the physical ability to speak. Right behind that is the parietal lobe, which helps you understand spatial relationships, process touch and pain, and houses Wernicke's area, so you can actually understand spoken language. Tucked away at the very back of your head is the occipital lobe, completely dedicated to your vision. And finally, sitting on the sides, we have the temporal lobes, which are absolutely vital for short-term memory, musical rhythm, and speech.
All right, time for section 3, deep inside the brain, the hidden structures. Plunging beneath that wrinkled cortex, we hit a roadmap of ancient structures that regulate our most primitive drives, our core memories, and our raw emotions. Now, these structures are tiny, but man, they are mighty. First up, the pituitary gland. It's literally the size of a pea, sitting just behind the bridge of your nose, but it is the master gland, regulating your body's hormones. Right above it is the hypothalamus, which basically acts like your body's thermostat. It controls your temperature, your sleep patterns, hunger, and thirst. Then we have the amygdala, which are two almond-shaped structures that act as your brain's internal alarm system, managing stress and that infamous fight or flight response. Then there's the hippocampus, shaped kind of like a curved seahorse, absolutely crucial for learning, memory, and spatial navigation. And to round it out, the pineal gland, which responds to light and dark, secreting melatonin to keep your daily circadian rhythms in check.
Also hidden deep inside your brain are 4 distinct open chambers connected by little passageways. These are known as the ventricles, and I promise you they are definitely not just empty space. They're actually constantly at work manufacturing a watery substance called cerebrospinal fluid, or CSF. This fluid has 2 massive, absolutely crucial jobs. First, it surrounds the brain and the spinal cord, acting as a vital shock absorber to cushion your central nervous system from everyday impacts. And second, it continually washes through the entire system, sweeping out waste, delivering nutrients, and basically just keeping your biological computer totally clean and running smoothly.
Which brings us to our final stop, Section 4, Connections and Life Support, Brainstem, Nerves, and Blood. Look, a command center is pretty much useless without power lines and communication cables connecting it to the outside world, right? All of that complex, high-level thinking in the cerebrum has to make its way down to your body somehow, and it does that right through the brainstem. The brainstem is split into 3 key sections. Up at the top is the midbrain, which facilitates movement and hearing. Interestingly, it also contains the substantial nigra, an area rich in dopamine neurons that is directly impacted by Parkinson's disease. In the middle is the pons, which is Latin for bridge, serving as a major connection point for several cranial nerves. And down at the bottom, connecting right into your spinal cord, is the medulla. The medulla handles the absolute non-negotiable survival essentials. I mean, if you're breathing, if your heart is beating, and if you've got blood flowing right now, it's purely because your medulla is doing its job automatically in the background. Tucked just behind that brainstem, right underneath the occipital lobe, is this fist-sized structure called the cerebellum. In Latin, this literally translates to the little brain. And get this, it actually has its own 2 hemispheres, just like the larger cerebrum above it. Now, for a long time, we've known its main job is coordinating your balance, your posture, and your voluntary muscle movements. Keeping you standing upright and walking smoothly without falling over. But what's really exciting in modern neuroscience right now is that new studies are exploring the cerebellum's role in thought, emotions, social behavior, and even its possible involvement in conditions like autism and schizophrenia. It's a real frontier of brain science. Because the brain is so incredibly vital, it needs some serious high-level protection. Between your actual soft brain tissue and the hard bone of your skull, you have 3 protective layers collectively known as the meninges. Think of them as high-tech security packaging. The outermost layer is the dura mater, which is this really thick, tough barrier. Moving inward, the second layer is the arachnoid mater, named because it looks a lot like a thin, web-like connective tissue. This is actually the space where that protective cerebrospinal fluid circulates. And finally, the third inner layer is the pia mater, a very delicate, incredibly thin membrane that tightly hugs every single contour and wrinkle on the brain's surface. Now, all of this crazy biological machinery burns a ton of energy, so it requires massive amounts of oxygen and nutrients to function. These are provided by 2 main sets of blood vessels. And this brilliantly illustrates just how physically connected your body is to your brain. Actually, do this with me right now. Take your fingertips and just gently touch the side of your neck. Feel that pulse? You are literally feeling your external carotid arteries at work. Just branching off from those are the internal carotid arteries, which dive straight up into your skull to supply the front of your brain. Meanwhile, in the back, the vertebral arteries travel up your spinal column to feed the back of your brain. And at the base of the brain, these major arteries actually link together in a safety loop called the Circle of Willis. This ensures that blood can safely circulate and communicate across the entire arterial system, even if there's a blockage somewhere. So, we've talked about how the spinal cord sends messages down to the rest of the body. But what about your head, your face, your internal organs? Well, that massive job is handled by exactly 12 specific nerves inside the dome of the skull, known as the cranial nerves. These are 12 distinct, highly specialized cables emerging directly from the brain and brainstem to manage sensation and motor activity. Let's look at just a few of the superstars among those 12, just to give you an idea of the sheer variety of tasks they handle. Cranial nerve 1 is the olfactory nerve, which gifts you your sense of smell. Cranial nerve 2 is the optic nerve, totally governing your eyesight. Moving down a bit, cranial nerve 5 is the trigeminal nerve. It's the largest and most complex of the bunch. It handles sensations from your face, your teeth, and your jaw, and it's what physically allows you to chew your food. And then we have to mention cranial nerve 10, the famous vagus nerve. This one is wild because it extends far beyond the head, dropping way down into the body to control motor activity in your heart, your throat, and your entire digestive system. So from the wrinkly gray processing matter on the surface, to the hidden hormone-producing ancient glands deep inside, to the vital cables and blood vessels keeping the whole thing alive, your brain really is an absolute masterpiece of biology. I mean, just think about this for a second. Right in this very moment, billions of your neurons sitting in that fatty, watery 3-pound structure are firing off electrical signals for the sole purpose of allowing you to understand the words I am saying to you right now. And it's doing that while completely automatically managing your breathing, your balance, and your heartbeat in the background. It really leaves you wondering, if your brain is doing all of that on autopilot, what else is your brain truly capable of? Thank you so much for exploring this master organ with me. Keep learning, keep firing those neurons, and I'll see you in the next explainer.